Hey everybody, give you a chance to get the warning, which I did not give you. Where should I put this? Because I came in when I could come in. So there's a few things to talk about today. There is the wildest alignment that is upon us. So things are getting wilder at the Circle K. Really, the 24th is where things peak. But from yesterday up until the 24th, the 25th, there's a lot going. There's a lot going on in terms of building tensions. Social changes, grievances, tensions coming to the surface, economic disturbances. What is looking like a paying back a national karmic debt is what it looks like when you look at the alignment in comparison to the chart of the United States. I'll talk about this at length more with the chart itself in my membership group. But it's something that is occurring at the same time that we have a lot of planets involved in this alignment, involved in the natal chart of the United States. So it's something that affects us on a world scale, but it can be more specific to individuals and more specific to countries, depending on which particular chart you're looking at. In this case, you're looking at a collective chart, which is the chart of a body of people, the chart of a country. So Jupiter is coming up to in conjunct Pluto. It will be in a sextile to Mars. Sun is going to be conjunct Jupiter, not exactly in conjunct to Pluto, but coming up to it. And we still have the square between Jupiter and Neptune that's in play. This building tension the past couple of days, peaking today and tomorrow, because with that double in conjunction from Mars to Saturn, then Mars to Neptune. So it's that feeling of powerlessness, ineptitude, not being able to secure or get the object of our desires. We're looking at myriad obstacles to being able to land whatever our passion is. Girls, girls, leave those lizards alone. Leave them alone. Violet. They're verminators of the worst kind. They have a lot of papillon in them. So there is this collective feeling of impotence, lag, failure, depression. It's hard to move. It's a lethargy and a lack of drive that we're collectively dealing with Mars in such icky aspects to Saturn and to Neptune, and it can bring out the worst in those who are already suffering from weak character or from repressed aspects of themselves. Configurations like this really do bring out like the monster in the closet, and it is going to have an impact on already building tensions. So as Jupiter comes into things and gets into that righteous in conjunction to Pluto, she's ebbing up to, uh, we've had a lot of sparks. We had the Mars Uranus square last week. Now we have Mars immediately coming into this herky-jerky in conjunction, where we have both guilt and often misplaced loyalties coming to the surface. And then this really, oh God, what is the word? Ambition inspiring in conjunction from Jupiter to Pluto, which can be very much uh, this incendiary energy that comes in to this already building step up. So we've been kind of building a bonfire. Kinda. Just kinda. We've been building a bonfire. We could even call it a dumpster fire. And Jupiter Pluto can be enough added anger, tension, and conflict that can really spark things socially. It's a maximum amount of superego, Jupiter, laced with plutonic grievances and resentments. To get a snowball of revolution further tumbling down a hill. So there's a lot of changes that are afoot in 2024, 2025, 2026. Oh God, 2032. Oh my word. So your attitude determines your altitude. And there are a lot of different frequencies that we can choose to live in. We can choose to live in fear, trepidation, preparation, always in preparation, always in expectation of that next disaster, the next reason to hoard or to distract ourselves with living in plutonic survival mode. That's the old timeline, prepping for ever disaster. Now, we are going to have a further timeline split. We did have a big split in attitude, in the experience of reality back in November. And we're going to have a lot of these subtle splits that are very much accompanied with an active sun. And we've had a lot of solar activity in just the past few days, and we are likely to see more as we approach this impactful planetary alignment. As the magnetic shield weakens and we receive more solar power, it has an effect on our biology, our thinking, our emotions, our evolution. And so there's a bit of a pileup here in terms of omens and signals. Major outer planets changing signs this year, super active sun, ability to receive more of that, the solar power, which can change and mutate our biology in subtle ways. The new spiritual paradigm descending with Neptune and Saturn, which absolutely comes in at the same time where we see the AI revolution and the revolution in technology that Pluto in Aquarius always signals. And so there's going to be several different altitudes that we will exist at. It's a multiverse. We'll come to understand this more as we get into the age of Aquarius, our understanding of reality, of the cosmos, of astronomy changes hugely to include a more encompassing view. So the fusion of technology and AI and spirituality and religion, the new order of things, the age of Aquarius. That point of merging, awakening, singularity. It's been something that traditionally we've looked at as an obvious, you know, demarcation point. But it's likely to come insidiously. And when you don't see it coming. So anytime we have Saturn and Neptune together, well, Neptune itself in Aries, and then Saturn joining that, Dane Rudyard, the infinite astrologer, used to term it as the New Jerusalem. A new world spirituality, a new religion is born. So these types of alignments that we're experiencing this week, the last week of this week, that can be powerfully influential in bringing in and pushing forward these new ways, these new processes. This is how we understand cycles within cycles. So we look at the large cycles when it comes to Neptune. We look at the cycle within that, Saturn, and then we're looking at the Jupiter Mars cycle in relationship to the larger Pluto cycle. This is how we can understand eras, larger eras and generations within those eras of time. So I have a new era that is beginning around this time last year and into this year, and really settles in by 2032. So I have to really look at, are you living in survival mode? Are you focused on the end? Are you focused on disaster? Are you putting your energy into preparation? This is Plutonic generational fear cycles that we're continuing to live in and seed and spread, and that's what we create. We will get the Plutonic end. Or are you clearing your karma? Are you taking out your bit of poison from the well? You're living in abundance. And that does not mean that you have more than you can spend or eat or use. Are you living authentically? Are you living in health? Are you aligned with your soul? Is what you do and what you choose and who you profess to be, does that sit right with your soul? That's the biggest core question. That's the biggie. Because that's the big determining factor in the mini splits that we see that will lead up to a more consequential split when it comes to attitude, determining your altitude, and that altitude determining which particular variety of life you get. So the more that you continue to choose yourself, to choose authenticity, to do what sits right with your heart and soul, because you know what you want, you understand who you are, you're self-aware, you've dealt with your particular poison, you've pulled it out of the collective well and cleansed it yourself. You've redeemed yourself. You're not waiting for something outside of yourself to redeem you. You've taken your own cross. You've borne it yourself. all really does come down to being able to forgive yourself. That can be the hardest part. Getting someone else's forgiveness is one thing, but being able to forgive yourself, because you know what you did more than anybody else knows. And that's the big key, is authentically getting rid of your guilt and your shame and coming up into self-respect, because then you do not make choices that contribute to the poison in the well. You're not toxic anymore. You've redeemed yourself and your family line. Those family lines that are not redeemed are going to die out over the next 20, 30 years. That's what this segue into the age of Aquarius is about. It's about people collectively, a smaller collective group, going through the eye of the needle, and it shaves off all of the collective karma. And some of that means it's the end. It's not going to be passed on. In the most real way. So you have to heal yourself. You can't wait for a creator outside of yourself to do it for you. You have to begin that process. It's a co-creative process. You have to get right with your own divine nature. That isn't owned by any particular culture or religion or belief system. There isn't some ultimate permission that we need to appeal to. There's a lot of people who tell you that, but they'll charge you. They'll surely charge you. So it's a crazy time. It leads to an even crazier 5D. And you pop up into 5D and things are easy. It's not an angry place. You're in the flow. At first it just feels so weird. But then you get used to it, and it actually is the new normal. And then when you pop out of the flow, that's where you get into that creepy, cringy, old feeling timeline where it's like, it doesn't feel good. And that's how you know the difference. How it feels. Not something that somebody can tell you outside yourself or instruct you. We can get good advice and hopefully from the right people, but ultimately it's going to be our own sensitivity to, what's healthy and unhealthy, what's life affirming and what's probably going to hurt us on some level. We can recognize it once you go through that eye of the needle. And you shave your karma off. Through your own hard work of reclaiming yourself and going through the individuation process. You don't get to pay somebody and then they wave a wand over your head or have you say some words or absolve you of something. You can't buy it. But once you yourself go through that eye of the needle, it's easy to feel who and what is good for you. And that is the divine speaking through your heart and your stomach and your soul. Saying, yes, that's warm. That's good. That's good things there. Go there. And something's cold, cringy, suspicious. Wants to drag us back into survival mode and distract us. It's not fascinating anymore. You can grow out of your attraction to Pluto when you heal. You use Pluto like you do Neptune when you heal, in small doses, rather than being in a toxic pool. You understand that Pluto has a role. Neptune has a role. They often both get a bad rap, but they both have a good side. The good side of Pluto is cleansing. Recycling waste into something valuable. And when you come to attract and be attracted to that side of Pluto, the life-affirming side of Pluto, you don't get the intensity of the ups and downs, the reenaction of the karma. You don't get that. You don't get the peaks that when you're unhealed or in survival mode that you crave. The more of that peak input, because we're more in a place of trust. We trust life. When you trust life, you don't have to reach out for those short-term, life-affirming, intense moments that take a lot out of you. It's a lot of input at once, but it takes out of you at the same time. It's not an energetic addition. But when Pluto is our friend, it's not the devil energies within us that we suppress. It's our friend. It's the shadow side that we have befriended. And this is when it energizes us. We're not running from the shadow side. That takes energy to run. We're in partnership with it. We're in harmony with it. We've made friends with our devil. So it's this kind of intense alignment way of coming up here that gives us that push towards that ultimate end of, personal healing that leads us into a new world order, the age of Aquarius, where we're not concerned and focused on lack and waste and war. Life comes at you differently. But the price is personal healing. You have to give up your karma. That's the price you pay. Giving up your karma hurts very badly. There's a few ways that you can get there. Sometimes it'll be an intense grief experience, loss. Sometimes we'll have a epiphany. Sometimes we'll have an energetic awakening or a kundalini awakening. There's a few ways that we can get there. But if it doesn't hurt, you're not healing. If you're arriving at that finish line, giving up that karma, and there's people there to applaud you because you're there first. You're at the finish line of enlightenment first. You better believe you're not giving up your karma. It's a blindfold. So I'm running out of battery. I had 100% battery and now I have nothing. So I'm going to take you guys inside with me, okay? Which means you have to have the thumb over the camera for like a minute so I can get you inside before we completely lose the stream. Here we go. So me and the girls will just come down the winding path here so I can plug in, and we have a few questions here on the super chat that I will get to. And I haven't even gotten to be talking about the sun in Cancer, but the sun did come into Cancer today. So how about that for an archetypal example of Mars in conjunct to Neptune and Saturn? All the power just drained out all at once. That is how it goes. All right. So I'll just bring my chair over here and we will wrap up face you the other way so you don't have to look at all my lingerie. So there's a energetic shift that happens when we get real clear about our karma. We shift from fear to hope. We shift from these peaks and valleys. Yeah, the sound is quiet because I had to unplug my microphone, Michael. Maybe if I move a little bit closer, you guys can hear me a little bit better. If I talk a little bit louder, then we'll wrap up. So coming into harmony, coming into flow, that's a symptom of 5D, of living in a more all-encompassing reality rather than living in illusion. So we come out of illusion into clarity. Clarity is what enables us to make really good decisions. Clarity is what enables us to see what something actually is. You can't come into clarity until you clear your karma. So waking up from the old paradigms is like waking up from a nightmare. And the more you're stuck in the old paradigms, the more you're going to be absorbing more news, more information, more of everything that has to do with fear, the end, survival mode, not enough, lack, reasons for hoarding rather than sharing. But there is more than enough in this world. Even for all